Hello, everybody, and welcome to Glenview Community Ice Center for tonight's SHL Game of the Week between the Glenbrook South Titans and the Lake Forest Scouts. Two teams coming in with a pretty good record so far in the early SHL season. My name's Anthony Pasquale alongside Luke Jordan, and we'll hear from Wes Anderson in just a minute. But Luke, we've got an exciting matchup for tonight's SHL Game of the Week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's the first meeting between these two teams and what can be a very unpredictable game. Lake Forest, a team that has played to a very high ceiling at points this season, and Glenbrook South, who we really haven't seen enough of, playing the fewest games in the SHL up to this point, but also when they're at their max, they are a tough team to beat as well.
No doubt. You mentioned Lake Forest, some of their highs and some of their lows. For more on the Scouts, we send it down to the third member of our crew, Wes Anderson.
Looks like he's checking with the officials real quick. I just want to add on one thing about Lake Forest. They played the league's most games, and that is a huge advantage this early in the season to just have played so many games. We talked to Coach Steve. He's gotten so many different lines together, and now this team is really starting to find their rhythm as the lights started to dim here and come back on. But now it looks like he's ready.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach, Carter Savage, 5 points in his last 5 games, including a hat trick last game. What have you liked so far in his stretch?
You know, he's just shooting the puck, and he's been really reliable, working his ass off. Oh, sorry. But he's honestly been going to the net, and he's been picking his spots. It's been great.
You talk about Carter going to the net. You guys are 4-1 when scoring the first goal. Going to the net's going to be a big thing. How important is that first goal tonight?
It's huge. Honestly, for us, if we can get on the board first, that changes the entire game. We need shots on net early, and we know how good GBS is, so that's really important.
All right, good luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks.
Guys, back up to you.
Coach Steve, 2 minutes for cussing. Coach Steve, 2 minutes for cussing. No, just kidding. Really good stuff there from him, and we've talked to him a little bit before the game about some ground that they're going to have to make up. One of the best players on the Scouts, Thomas Esplin, is down tonight, down for about the next week or two with a sprained ankle. So, Luke, how are they going to try to fill that void offensively?
Oh, it's so tough. Tommy Esplin, who I've seen in person, is an incredible playmaker. He's the one who creates plays for this Lake Forest team, whether it's on the zone entry, odd man rush, you name it. And missing that, they're going to need multiple guys to step up because there's really nobody, there's not one single player, although a deep team, that can fill in for the exact shoes that fit number 5, Tommy Esplin. So at that point, you got to look to your lower end guys. You got to look to your lower lines. They got to be able to at least match or beat the GBS bottom lines. It all starts from 1 through 4.
Absolutely. We know Michael Catalano is going to be expected to shoulder a big load offensively. He's got 6 goals and 3 assists so far on the year, and now he's just becoming the primary offensive threat with Esplin down. But head coach Steve told us a little bit before the game, Carter Savage, who Wes mentioned, had a hat trick the other night. He's going to be counted on to have a pretty big shoes to fill, as well as Stephen Valenti, Nate Robbins, and Grady Strothman. So those are 3 names to keep your eye on for this Lake Forest Scouts team. Meanwhile, Glenbrook South has only played 4 league games so far this year. This is their official home opener. What do they need to show to make sure that the rest of the SHL doesn't forget about them this early on?
They've got to show that their returners can put in big value. Blake Hoffer has played a minuscule amount of games, just like the rest of the Titans. But statistically, if you look at it, you wouldn't say, oh, he's under a point per game. Is he putting up the best he can do? We saw what he did last year, nearly 2 points a game on average. He's an incredible hockey player, and at this point of time, he tends to get hot. I'm really excited to see what the leading scorer of the SHL last year as a junior does into this year.
Absolutely. When I was taking a look at this team heading into this season, I was shocked to find out that Blake Hoffer was back for another season. That's how good he performed as a junior. We're going to get to see what he has in store as a senior as he makes his SHL Game of the Week debut here in 2025. The teams are gathering near the nets. We do have a ceremonial puck drop, which is going to be handled by one of our very own, Luke Jordan, taking over the public address. And he'll do so for the puck drop momentarily, and we'll send it down to field level for that.
Glenbrook South Titan Hockey Club welcomes you all to our official home opener for the 2025-2026 season. With that, please welcome Tyler Ponzarelli from the Glenbrook South class of 1996. The owner of Forza Meats Butcher and Sandwich Shop in Glenview and Northbrook locations will now come up to have the ceremonial puck drop with the captain from each team. Once again, give it up for Tyler Ponzarelli and enjoy the game.
Big thank you to our very own Luke Jordan.
Double shifting, huh?
As we get ready for action here, both teams talking to their respective coaches as the officials get ready for tonight's SHL Game of the Week here at Glenview Community Ice Center. Glenbrook South coming off a loss to York on Wednesday, something that head coach Jim Philbin described as embarrassing. We got some good feedback from him on how this team is prepared to respond after that showing, and I think we'll see a different Titans team today.
Yeah, not just good feedback. Some of the best storytelling I've ever heard from a coach, talking about how this team literally went through every aspect of every error and just had a brutal, gut-wrenching practice before this game. And that's what you want. As a former player, when you get those practices, when your coach is thrown out of rhythm and can't believe what he just saw, you know you got to make changes for the next game. That's what Jim Philbin did with his team. I'm excited to see how it turns out in this one.
There's a look at the goalie cam. Thomas Preston getting the start for Glenbrook South, 3-2 on the season. And the goaltender for Lake Forest in tonight's ball game is Logan Marsh. And we are underway here at Glenview Community Ice Center. The draw is won by the Titans. Wrapping it around on the near side and firing it up the near side boards is Pinto. And it goes all the way down the length of the ice for an icing. Wes, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, you're talking about Jimmy Philbin. There's a reason why he's in the Illinois Hockey Hall of Fame for stories and things like that. Going back to what you were talking about, Luke, just making sure his team was prepared and just reset after that game against York.
Stephen Valenti taking the draw on the near side for Lake Forest, and battle ensues on the boards. Pinto wraps it around the net and leaves it back for Fagan. Throws it up the near side boards with the backhand. Michaelis chasing after it, and it's going to be received by Pasquazi behind the net. Zachary Boris fighting for it, and a board battle ensues between two players from each squad. Coming away with it is the Titans, trying to drive a shot toward the net, and it never got through.
You know, we haven't really seen it yet, but I'm super excited to watch this goaltending matchup between the junior Logan Marsh and the sophomore Thomas Preston. These two goalies, so young, but already have varsity experience in their past here in the SHL, and they are both near the top of the podium in statistics.
Centering pass, fanned on, and he falls into the net trying to make a play there. Nate Robbins looking to start the scoring off. Instead, it comes back the other way with Blake Hoffer. And he has a giveaway, might have numbers here the other way for the Scouts, and Hoffer fights to get it right back. He rings it around the boards towards Fagan, who touches it up ahead. That's Asher Vanderplug, healthy now for his senior season. What a loss that was last year for the Titans when he went down early with a broken leg.
Yeah, and so cool to see that his injury hasn't affected his ceiling of play. You know, basically Jim Philbin described him with one word of outstanding, and that's not something you always hear for a player that missed a near entire season. Luckily for him, it came at a time where he had this entire offseason to ramp up into what is a very important senior year for a GBS team trying to make a run.
And he looks bigger and stronger than we've ever seen him, wearing 23 in navy blue tonight. Glenbrook South wearing their USA 1980 Olympic team modeled jerseys. And Lake Forest wearing their road grays. Here's Vanderplug on the near side, wrapping it around. And it comes back through center. Mulvey will have to chase as it comes all the way back behind Preston's net for an icing.
Yeah, kind of a slow start for both sides up to this point. As I always like to say, at the feeling out phase, and it only makes sense, these two teams meeting for the first time this season.
when you mentioned that feeling out phase, is there like a minute on the clock where you feel like it usually ends by?
I think that's a good question. I really don't think so. I feel like it just kind of comes naturally, but that's from my own opinion. I think people might feel otherwise about that, but there's just at some point in time you start to feel a kick, and now it's all right. It's go time. We're feeling. We felt them out. They felt us out. It's time to show our ceiling of play.
Scouts recover the puck behind their own net and try to start the rush. They've had a hard time exiting this zone. The forecheck of the Titans has been deadly early on. Backhanded attempt gets steered aside, and Lake Forest will break out once more. The thing that's apparent watching these two teams play, Glenbrook South much faster, Lake Forest much more physical. So we'll see which one of those indicates the pace of play for tonight's ball game.
Yeah, I like to write keys of the game as good play by Torelli there. For each team, I usually write 2 for each. One of mine for GBS, win the physical battle. Lake Forest beat New Trier in the first 2 meetings between those two because they won the physical battle. They were dirty in between the blue lines. For GBS, it's how can you reciprocate that in a matchup against a very physical Lake Forest team.
Right, and especially for a team that prefers to be so much more like speed and finesse. What are they able to bring on the physicality side of things? Coming through on the near side, trying a centering pass, now dropping it behind the net. Gets it to Fagan near the blue line. He fires one toward the net, deflected out in front, never got through. I think that was Graham Vanderploeg making a play on it.
Yeah, sure was, and I like it. You got to create screens on Logan Marsh. This is a goalie that is so hard to beat when he has the full vision of a shot. So those redirections, we saw it earlier today on Marquee, deflections, screens, all of that stuff is going to pay off if you can get gritty, get in front of the crease, take away the goalie's eyes, and Wes Anderson is right there next to Logan Marsh, and I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, one of those. You just got to make the goalie's life difficult tonight. And so far, this forecheck by the Titans has been relentless, trying to get more pucks on net here in the first half of the first period.
Mendoza's shot never got through, hits off the backboards and starts to rush the other way. Valenti leading the charge out there with Savage, coming off of a game where he scored 3 goals, got the hat trick, and helped Lake Forest get in the win column. Loose puck out in front, recovered by Fagan, and he puts it up looking for Sokol, who couldn't get a stick on it, goes all the way down the length of the ice, not going to be icing. And Lake Forest tries to start the breakaway pass, missing the stick there of Catalano. Glenbrook South will dump in, and it's recovered by the netminder Marsh. And he tries to start the rush the other way. Rancourt dumps it down. And Fagan touches it ahead to Mendoza. Mendoza drops it back to Fagan, who tries to set up the offense. A little bit sloppy in between the neutral zone for Glenbrook South as they try to drive toward the net. That shot deflected, rebound, stopped out in front once more. That was Hoffer getting a good look. And here he has it again, shoots, and another save made from Marsh.
That's a great sequence from Blake Hoffer. He knew where to be on the rebound. He curled back around the net, didn't give up on the play, ended up wide open on another chance. But boy, that's going to be one fun matchup. His shot versus Marsh's goalie gear.
Glenbrook South, 3 straight shots on goal there on the previous rush. Let's see what they can do this time around. Here's Hoffer, fires again, and that one didn't get through. A nice block out in front from Lou. Al Tuman's shot deflects all the way up and off the netting, and we will have a whistle. But here's another look at that stop from Marsh.
And then I don't know if it's going to show, but watch Hoffer. He's going to come right around, and this is where, well, that's actually not where he got it. That's the rebound save again. But after that, he came below here, followed back around, and got another shot on. And that's just that relentless effort you got to have on a great goalie. Both teams are going to have to display that. You take a shot, you either crash the net or you find out where the puck's going to be next. That's what Hoffer did.
Great job done there from Luke Jordan on our telestrator. There's the shot that you were looking for. It finally came.
Jimmy, you're late on me. Come on.
Behind the net, centering pass comes all the way back down the ice. Looking to feed Strothman out in front, and it has to be played by Marsh behind the net. Here's Pinto. Flicks it up ahead, looking for Boris, but he couldn't get his stick down on the ice to stop it. No icing. Behind the net it goes. That's Eggers coming up on the near side. And it's taken away out in front momentarily by Glenbrook South as they try to drive toward the net. And it comes back into the neutral zone to be controlled by Pinto. Boris will stick it forward, and it has to be covered up by Marsh just in front of his net as the carom off the back glass came right out in front.
Yeah, Zach Boris on the dump in there, and I think we got to give a personal shout out to him. Currently leads his GBS team in points with 6, and his dad Gerard, a big helper of SHL Network, the South Hockey Network, and now even the Trevian Hockey Network. He's everywhere, and he's here again helping out with the tech stuff, so a big thanks to him. And a great season that Zach has had so far in his senior year.
2 goals, 4 assists to lead the Titans early on as Weiss tries to get a centering pass, never got through, and here's Mulvey, the senior defenseman. His shot gets blocked, and he'll have to wrap it back into the neutral zone to recover possession. Mulvey paired up with Pinto, and Weiss sends it ahead. It gets chased after by Tutai. Tutai fought for it up against the boards and received a big hit from Maricini. Here comes on the near side, trying to escape the zone was Torelli, unable to do so. And now it finally comes towards center, and a chance for Valenti. His shot right into the glove of Preston, the first save he's had to make. And we're almost 7 minutes into this one.
Yeah, it's taken a while for Lake Forest to get a shot, and I don't hate it from Valenti, but he's still got a lot of room to work with. He took that shot from the top of the circle. I know Fagan's right on his tail, but I'm all for potentially rolling the dice, trying to get within closer distance of Preston. Even if you don't get it off, I don't think that shot's going to do much on an already very experienced varsity goalie in his sophomore year in Thomas Preston.
Taking the draw for Lake Forest is going to be Nate Robbins. And he gets a shot off right off the draw on a stop made by Preston out in front. Fought for it on the near side. Catalano gets it on the backhand, and Robbins couldn't read it. Pasquazi's shot goes wide. Good stick from Hoffer to prevent that shot from coming toward the net. And a loose puck is fought for on the near side. Vanderplug takes a hit from Robbins. Robbins recovers it, gets it out in front. And a pass goes from Altunin the other way. Now fighting for it and just barely missing out on a chance was Cosmeter. Hoffer couldn't corral it. Fagan tries to near the blue line, and Pasquazi fights it all the way through the neutral zone. And it's there for Fagan to recover it for the Titans.
Yeah, I like the rush there from Cosmeter. He's got easily one of the quickest pairs of legs on this team, filling in for some seniors who graduated who had great speed, missing some guys in that compartment, and he's able to take care of it.
Here's Strothman driving toward the net on the backhand, couldn't free it up, and he'll have to peel it back. Tried to get it to Milliman, and he falls down to the ice before he can make a play on it. Here's Cosmeter again, driving with some speed. Certainly a name that we've called a couple of times in this opening period, as we've got 9 minutes to play here in period number 1. Off the boards it comes, corralled by Lucas Fagan. Behind the net it goes, Sokol chasing. And the race to the puck is won by the Scouts as they try to bring it up and start a rush themselves. Backhanded D-to-D pass misses, and it's Graham Vanderplug there to recover and dump it in for the Titans. Sticked ahead, Valenti chasing, and Preston leaves it to be retrieved by Mulvey. Sokol trying to break through to Buchanan, comes over the neutral zone and dumps it in for the Titans for Sokol to chase. Lake Forest battling to try to reclaim possession of the puck. And here they start on the break. Savage dumps it down, Preston will touch it, and Mulvey's there to retrieve it. Neither team securing a shot in a couple of rushes. I think they're going to call Tubuchanak with a hand pass there. And we get a whistle.
It's just been a lot of dump and chase to start. Both teams get across the red line and immediately fire it in. It seems to just be a lack of confidence in your offensive rush up to this point, and I think that'll get fixed as the game goes, and I'm sure it's something that Coach Soror and Coach Philbin are communicating right now. Enough of that. Yeah, whatever. We might get the puck sometimes on the forecheck, but you got a better chance. I mean, I've seen them dump it in on a 3-on-2 in this game. I think they just got to find that confidence that's lacking right now.
Absolutely, and you see it from Glenbrook South when they have that Hoffer line out there. They're trying to get pucks to the net. Every other line, not the same. Here's Kosmeter firing one, and a save made from Marsh out in front. And just like we said, that Kosmeter-Hoffman line, they'll put pucks to the net.
Absolutely, and Kosmeter not badly done here. He's just kind of misses his shot location a little bit. Doesn't test Marsh too much, as you're going to see here. Takes it right on the crest of the logo.
Kosmeter gets a shot right off the draw, sends it just a little bit wide. As Hoffer tries to deliver a hit and loosen up the puck. Fagan there. Both Fagan brothers out for Glenbrook South, William and Luke. But it's Pasquesi firing one to the net, deflected and in. Lake Forest strikes first on the deflection, and the Scouts grab an early 1-0 lead.
Well, what did I say earlier? To beat good goalies, you have to take away their eyes. You got to make them blind. And Lake Forest knows this. They prioritize it. Look at all the bodies in front of the slot. It's so tough for Preston to see it once it comes on its way. And that's a not so fired up Lake Forest bench, honestly. I think they know they have more to get done. I mean, they're getting outshot right now, but they're outvaluing the Scouts, outvaluing Titans up to this point.
Couldn't tell the last person to touch it. It may have been Nate Robbins.
Yeah, guys, I had a good vantage point from down here. It looked like that was tipped in on goal. And, Luke, you're absolutely right. You got to start testing both of these goalies. Both of these goalies toward the top of the rankings in terms of save percentage. 8 shots through the first, 10 minutes of this game. Really isn't going to get things done. But as we see, the Scouts there have some traffic in front of Preston, and it leads to a puck being in the back of the net.
1-0 Lake Forest with 7:14 to go in the first period. Glenbrook South trying to answer the early goal from the Scouts. Falling down to the ice there was Preston Liu. Boris tries a centering feed, and it never got through. He was looking for Mikrolis. It's still out in front. And a finally save made and a clearing as Ventura was there. Now Hillman flips it down. And it comes back the other way into the neutral zone. The Scouts reclaim possession and dump it in once more. They lead it 1-0, 6.5 to play in the first period. Mulvey up the near side. Boris gets it and touches it right back to the senior defenseman. Boris on the near side, fights it all the way down. And coming around the boards, a nice job to keep it in the zone from Mikrolis. Backhanded attempt from Preston, and it's covered up by Marsh.
I want to touch on this real quick. This is actually really cool. The Glenbrook South bench appears to be actually having our video feed. I'm pretty sure Jim Philbin has his feed in his pocket because he handed it over to his son Jimmy, and he showed the offense the replay, and he pointed out where he wanted his guys to be instead. Now, that is me inferring. I am 99% sure, but if so, that is a really unique and cool way to kind of utilize this footage and try to turn it into positives and adjust things.
It's almost like getting live film feedback, especially when you're able to go back and take a look. It's only been 10 minutes, and you've already seen some of that snow start to build up on the ice.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy around the net already, especially over near Thomas Preston, which is a good sign for Lake Forest. You want to make sure you're stopping in front of the crease instead of curling away.
Catalano tries a centering feed to Valenti, and he couldn't get it off the stick, and it gets steered away.
Yeah, that's a play where Catalano's missing his buddy Tommy Esplin, who's currently out with injury, because he knows that Catalano's usually in that second spot receiving the pass and putting it home, and Esplin's usually the one setting it up. Those two have been a 1-2 punch all year.
Michael Torelli gets it coast to coast behind the net. Fagan tries to pin him up against the glass. Vanderplug among those bodies fighting for the puck, and it's eventually retrieved by Lake Forest. Tries to get it to Robbins, and it goes away from him all the way down the other end. Both teams will go for a quick change before Lake Forest tries to start the rush. Picked off by Kosmeter. Down low to Hoffer. Fagan, his shot gets deflected out in front by Catalano. Kosmeter once again trying to look for somewhere to go with it to set up a scoring chance. He's fighting behind the net and doing a pretty good job for the Titans to maintain possession. Asher Vanderplug, Kosmeter, and here's Fagan. Fagan walks it in, skates, drops a man, tries to get a backdoor feed to Hoffer, but it's picked off out in front.
Really like the moves there from Glenbrook South, and once again, it's Blake Hoffer who's creeping around in different parts near the slot, but Lake Forest is starting to find him out and find where he's going to be.
Hoffer solo dump and chase effort. And Glenbrook South able to get the puck, and there it is, Kosmeter to the back of the net. Tie game.
This is great effort from Owen Kosmeter. He doesn't stop moving his feet into the slot, keeps his legs churning, and watch, the puck's going to pop out right to him. The initial shot hits the skate of the Lake Forest defender, and Kosmeter just quick to track it down, finds the puck immediately off the bounce from Anaya and puts it home to tie up this game, Anthony.
1-1. And some momentum back in this rink as that Hoffer line strikes again. Kosmeter the one cashing in with the scoring chance. We're under 4 minutes to play in a first period, tied 1-1. You're watching the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube. Rancourt sends it down toward the net as Eggers tried a deflection. Like you said, Luke, that seems to be the method of offense for Lake Forest. Traffic in front of Preston and try some deflections. Fagan gets it to Boris on the near side. A touch play almost frees up Mikralis to score a goal. And it gets deflected off the pad of Marsh all the way up and out of play.
Yeah, and it's seeming Glenbrook South is starting to adjust to that type of move as well. It's really the goals that goalies cannot control so far at this point. A redirection and then a bad bounce off your defender where you got to move from post to post faster than usual that you can't just do, and the speed of Kosmeter beats them. And real quick, big thanks to our sponsors as always.
Of course, they are what makes what we do at the SHL Network possible. So a big thank you to them. Here's Fagan with the puck. Tries to get it off the boards, but a interesting bounce takes it back into Lake Forest possession. Sokol. And behind the net it goes. Fagan able to keep it momentarily. Lou there to send it back the other way. And Lou takes a big hit, freeing up the puck for Glenbrook South to restart their rush. And that one deflected up and out of play once more. 2 minutes and 38 seconds to go.
I think the shots tell a lot about this game so far. A lot of the game has been spent, especially as of recent, in the Lake Forest end. But right now, the Scouts are still nearly outvaluing South. Yes, they have not gotten much on lately, and you almost wonder how much of a part that's going to play to Thomas Preston trying to keep his pads warm over there. I don't know, Wes, when you have long hiatuses, does it tend to get cold up there? You tend to lose your rhythm a little bit, as we'll get to that in a second, actually.
Hoffer there tries a centering feed to Vanderplug. Instead, it's Fagan taking it. Rebound attempt. Hoffer trying to stuff it home. It's still loose out in front, and it comes back safely momentarily for the Scouts as it's recovered by Redding. Asher Vanderplug threads the needle to Hoffer, who dumps it in. Kosmeter chasing after it. The next closest is Jack Rancourt for the Scouts. Here's Kosmeter working it towards Hoffer. Backhanded pass to Fagan. And he has to put a few moves on. Vanderplug keeps it, tries to stuff it to the net. Hoffer off the post. And the possession continues. It feels like a power play for Glenbrook South. Mulvey across to Fagan. His shot. Save made from Marsh off the pad. And all the way back down it comes for an icing. Lake Forest desperately needed to stop the clock there. It was all Titans on that rush.
And yeah, Luke, it felt like a power play there for a second. Great left pad save there by Logan Marsh to just kind of free up some space and get that to the stick of a defenseman to clear that out. But going back to your Thomas Preston question, it gets tough. Only 4 shots to the first 16 minutes of play here. You start playing mental games with yourself. You just do whatever you can to stay engaged. And if I'm the scouts, I'm putting everything and anything on net as soon as I get that puck in the offensive zone.
We'll see if they're able to do so. Trying to start the rush, but they've lost a lot of pucks in neutral zone. The defensemen, specifically Mulvey and Fagan, have been such a big factor in preventing some of these breaks starting for the Scouts. Here it comes out in front, and Preston misses high. Had a point-blank opportunity to put the Titans out in front. Mulvey keeps once more. Tutai behind the net to retrieve it. Tries a backhanded centering pass. It's loose out in front. That's Preston and Fagan looking forward, and Preston's backhand shot gets deflected off the net.
Yeah, as of these last couple of rushes from Glenbrook South, the Scouts are starting to look a little bit out of sorts. We go back to that one possession where it felt like it was a power play, right? It's because they were out of position. They were playing in practically a box with 5 guys, 2 guys kind of hoarding one position. You got to communicate with your defenders. I mean, it's hard to judge from up here, but I haven't heard much talking as is at all from Lake Forest. Maybe they're just not loud enough, but that's just what I've seen.
Vanderplug wins the rush, and a nice keep from Mulvey. Fagan able to keep it once more. That one's deflected out in front by Cosmeter. And Fagan will have to retrieve it near the blue line. I couldn't tell if that one got on goal, if it was steered aside prior, as Lake Forest tries to send something toward the net, but Glenbrook South Titans get their sticks in the way. All the momentum is with them. Here's a giveaway out in front. Savage tries to get a centering pass off, ends up not taking a shot either way, and it was Rolick that couldn't cash in on the other end.
Yeah, that's great work by Asher Vanderplug after very, very bad work. You don't see him make a mistake like that often where he gives it away, but instead he takes away the pass on a 2-on-1, gets down. And on the other end, as we mentioned, a couple of great chances as of recent. This is the one that we thought hit the net, and yes, it did. It's kicked away by Marsh, and a good job by Maricini to tie up Hoffer. Otherwise, he's got a chance to stick it on from the far side.
Yeah, the shots on goal are becoming more and more lopsided by the second. 16-4 in favor of the Titans. And I don't think Lake Forest has had one in the back 7 minutes of this period. Out in front it goes. Fagan prevents it from being on net, and that's how we will end things here in the first period. We're tied 1-1, but it feels like Glenbrook South should be up by 3 or 4 by now.
Yeah, they have really turned things around. It's kind of like as soon as the clock turned into the second half of the first period, Glenbrook South just found a different gear, and they're starting to really stick to just creating traffic in front. You're seeing endless chances where there's 2, 3, almost nearly 4 guys in front of the crease at times. You don't want 4, but you get the point as a look back at the goals from each respective side through, I think the shots tell the story. It's been a pretty lopsided first period, but if you're Lake Forest, just be happy you're tied up right now. Make the adjustments you need to and roll back into play like it's a 0-0 game, because it basically is.
Right, and if you're going to give some credit here, we'll give credit to the netminder for Lake Forest, Logan Marsh, who has steered away 15 shots in the first period. You can't be asking him to do much more than that, but he has certainly been up to the challenge.
I mean, the workload that he receives, he's made so many saves already on the season, and the fact that he's posting a .928 save percentage is all you need to know about Marsh. I mean, as a sophomore, he came in last year. He was, all right. Like, he was middle of the pack. Now he is in contention to be the best goalie in the state. It's incredible, the jump he's made in the offseason. He is right up there with big names like Charlie Trapp and others.
And I think you could say the same thing about Preston,
Absolutely.
who is only a sophomore, so should be in contention for best goaltender in the state for the next 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we kind of see a Charlie Trapp every year now. He started the trend being a freshman in the net, and of course it's happened in the past, but now we're getting it year after year. After that, Thomas Preston came as a freshman. He was putting up near Charlie Trapp-like numbers. And now we kind of have one looming in. Last night, Levi Brown of York, who only made his second start of the season, played incredible against New Trier and eventually earned the Dukes the win. So it's really cool to see all the young talents in this league.
Without a doubt, each sides will flip. And as we like to call it, the period of the long change here in period number 2. Lake Forest wearing their gray sweaters. They'll be moving left to right. And Glenbrook South wearing their navy blue with yellow, modeled after the 1980 Miracle on Ice team's jerseys. They'll be moving from right to left on your screen. And we are underway in period number 2. The draw is controlled by Lake Forest. Here's Nelson sending it up the near side. Sticked away from Preston. Doesn't technically count as a shot on goal, but I'm sure he's happy just to get involved. Nelson at the blue line, dumps it down. Nobody home. Mulvey rings it around the boards. It's recovered by Rancourt. He fires one to the net, deflected, and it just misses the post. Lake Forest could have grabbed the lead had that puck bounced just an inch the other way. Mickerlis fighting for it, trying to get it out in front to Boris, and he does. Tries to bounce it off the boards, and it goes into the home bench, and will draw a whistle.
And guys, Valenti didn't miss by much on that tip in here on Preston. Preston flaring that left leg just at the last second. I don't think he got a piece of it, but just inches away from the Scouts taking the lead again.
Yeah, really cool. Dylan Ward, voice of the South Hockey Network, just told us and confirmed he sees South every game. We don't. He said that Philbin does actually do that in real time. He checks the film. So what I was talking about earlier about how he looks back at the replays and all is exactly what happens. And I think that's an advantage that Glenbrook South has over most teams, is having that live stream to check things in real time, not just the SHL game of the week, but their own network as well.
Puck bouncing behind the net, recovered by Preston Liu, and he rings it off the glass. And it'll come all the way back down into the Lake Forest offensive zone for Mulvey to chase after. A guy that both teams' coaches had a lot of high praise for, Ryan Mulvey, and the way he sets the tone for the Titans defensively. Can also do a little bit on the offensive end. Here he is firing one to the net, just a little bit wide. And that top line back out there for the Titans. Hoffer sends one to the net, steered aside. Asher Vanderplug tried to make a deflection. Couldn't get much wood on it.
Yeah, I don't mind Hoffer making that decision, but the puck's a little bit behind him. It's going to be really tough to get on net from that angle. I think you just got to hold on and give it a side.
Cosmeter to Vanderplug. He spins, fires, and it's saved out in front by Marsh. Recovered again from Cosmeter, now Hoffer. With the backhand to Fagan. Good keep from Fagan. Never mind, it's offside. I thought he was able to keep it on the line, but as we get deeper and deeper into this game, all that snow starts to build up. The line is kind of blurred.
No, I thought you were 100% right, Anthony, but from the body language of the GBS bench, there seems to be no complaining, no palms up, so they've got a better look than us, and I guess we're just both wrong for once.
That's the only time that'll ever happen.
Yep.
Preston coming down the far side, flicks one on net, and it's saved by Marsh. Obviously 16, 17 shots on goal. You have to be making some challenging saves, but he has made the routine ones look very easy tonight.
Absolutely.
Face-off controlled on the far side dot. Puck stays in play. Looked like it was right on the brink of touching that netting.
Yeah, I was waiting on another whistle.
Here's Mendoza. Up the far side, touching it forward was Preston. Tutai delivering a hit. We've heard from Lake Forest that they pride themselves in being physical, but we haven't seen them use that facet of their game too often tonight.
No, not at all. It's been a very different team from previous games I've seen in person of them. When they played New Trier, they probably had nearly 10 to 11 hits at the end of the first. I think we've maybe seen 2 or 3 so far.
Here's Preston sending one to the net, and it's off the pad from Marsh. 3 minutes about gone by in period number 2. 1-1 is the score. Here's Fagan across ice. That shot, save made. Marsh gobbles it up.
Yeah, you know, these saves look easy per se. They look routine. It's more the rebound that's impressive. Being able to take that up near the shoulder, immediately know where it's going to be, bring that glove in and trap it from coming off your chest is a very strong suit of Logan Marsh.
Silka will take the draw for Glenbrook South, and that is won by Lake Forest. Behind the net it goes, and jammed around the boards from Jack Rancourt. Pinto able to keep it in. Shot never got through. Vanderplug, Graham that was, taking a spill out in front. And here's Pinto in the neutral zone, trying to start the rush for Glenbrook South once more. To Buchanan there, and Mulvey has it D to D to Pinto. There's Pinto with the backhand. And Ryan Mulvey once again controlling the puck. Glenbrook South just feels comfortable when Ryan Mulvey has the puck. And that's something that some of these younger defensemen for Lake Forest can kind of take note of, the way Ryan Mulvey plays the position. Here's Sokol behind the net, leaving it for Tubicanik, fighting with Valenti for control on the near side. Scouts break through with possession, and here's Savage fighting, sending it behind Preston. They'll at the very least get a change. Unfortunately for the Scouts, unable to generate any offensive chances from the efforts from Savage. See if they can do anything on the offensive end this time around, and it's quickly back on the tape of Mulvey. Here's Vanderplug. He's got his brother to the left of him. Asher and Graham on the ice for the same time. And it's Asher fighting for it. Hoffer standing right by the net. Altunen fighting very tough with Catalano to just start the rush for Lake Forest. The issue is they're fighting so hard just to get the puck in their offensive zone. They don't have enough left in the tank to actually have a scoring chance.
Yeah, this is a team that has struggled with shots on goal all season. Just getting them on frame and getting in and making it happen. You know, out of just 11 games so far this season, they've only outshot their opponent once. And they still have a winning record.
I was just going to say 6 wins despite all of that, as Vanderplug's shot gets deflected by Marsh and it goes up and out of play.
And I think that's just such an important storyteller of how crucial Logan Marsh has been to this team this year.
Right.
He, like I said, he faces a lot of workload. Nearly every game he's seeing 30 or more shots, and he just takes care of nearly all of them.
Yeah, head coach Steve Sauer did say that one thing he wants to see from his team is for them to generate more shots, but they've only got 5 through about 23 minutes of this contest. Here's Hoffer sending it down. Vanderplug there to chase, and he delivers a hit to try to secure some possession of the puck. Cosmeter down there as well, and it's Hoffer trying to send one to the net. A great block out in front from Pasquesi, but Hoffer gets it right back. Hoffer to the far side, a little give and go, tic-tac-toe attempt, but nothing happens. Good sticks from the Scouts. Vanderplug backhands one toward the net. Cosmeter there. Cosmeter gets thrown off the puck. Nice physical play from the Scouts. They're starting to ramp up the physicality. Strothman on the backhand. Save made from Preston. Just their second shot on goal of the period.
Like the look there. Boris got ahead of the pack. He was nearly gone on a breakaway. The 2 Lake Forest blue liners got off for a change, and one of them, Luke Pasquesi, who has looked really impressive to me this season and in this game especially. He's not usually a stay-at-home defender, and on that diving, sliding block he made on Blake Hoffer, he kept one that could have been potentially in the back of the net if traffic was created in front.
Big thank you to all of our sponsors here at the SHL Network. We couldn't do what we do without all of you, so we appreciate everything that you guys do to make this broadcast possible. 10 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the second period. 1-1 is our score. Glenbrook South dominating the shots on goal, but the scoreboard is equal. This could be a breakaway attempt for Zachary Boris. Here he comes. His shot just over the crossbar. Comes free on the near side. Boris among those chasing after it. And with the backhand, Mendoza tries to keep for the Titans. Mikrelis giving chase, but it's the Scouts trying to start back the other way. Boris takes it away. Tries a pass to the back door for Mikrelis. Mulvey touches it to Mendoza, and his shot goes wide. Boris out in front to recover. Tries a centering pass, and it just gets the stick lifted, as Ventura would have had a great opportunity to cash in.
Great shift from Zach Boris. We got Gerard jumping over here. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Boris creating the opening play off of some sneaky speed. And just what incredible work by Marsh. You see, he just lifts his glove in time And I think if Boris goes back in his head on that play, you think he wants to get this just a little bit higher to whereas it's roofed right over the glove. Marsh just gets a hair of it, and we stay tied.
Hoffer will take the draw and generate a quick shot, and a save made right off the chest of Marsh. He's been up to the challenge today already, 20 saves.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's nearly at a shot a minute. We played 24 minutes, and he's faced 21 shots, made 20 saves. Once again, another game where he's a deal breaker. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that this season. Vanderplug's
shot deflected out in front, and I believe a save was made with the blocker. So make that 21 saves in 24 minutes. And an icing sends it all the way back the other way. Glenbrook South will get an offensive zone draw again.
And Luke, you broke it down beautifully talking about Logan Marsh. His rebound control has been excellent tonight. He's really limited those second chance opportunities, particularly when he's had traffic in front. So the scouts, if they haven't already leaned on him to be successful tonight, they're going to lean on him even more down the stretch here.
I think if we ask Steve what his strongest trait was, he would say rebound control. It's been so consistent all season, Wes.
Lake Forest generates possession here, and they come on the rush. Here's Robbins. He's out there with Catalano and Savage. Tries to get it to the trailing Nelson. And it's fought for on the near side. Savage trying to maintain it, and he'll dump it in for Lake Forest. But Fagan quickly there to recover. Even when Lake Forest does get the puck, it feels like just a matter of time before it comes back into the control of the Titans. Believe that'll be a delayed offside call on Blake Hoffer. The puck, I think, hit off of the referee, which is why the offside ended up happening.
Yeah, it definitely slowed down its path, and then I think Hoffer got over the blue line before the puck did.
I think so.
Linesman's got a good angle of it. Have to say it seemed like the right call there.
8:53 to go in the second period on the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube Live. 1-1 is our score. Nice keep by Milliman. And the puck goes up and I think went into the Lake Forest bench momentarily, so we will draw another whistle.
And guys, as much as GBS has dominated this game from the shot perspective, it's still a 1-1 game. It feels like it's 3-1 or 4-1. They are still in this game. They are one shot away from taking the lead, so that's got to be the message on the bench here for the Scouts.
I was just going to say, at one point that has to almost favor Lake Forest as they're still in this game. Here's Weiss. And he gets it to Pinto. And that'll be an icing. Pinto's pass never caught the stick of Preston, and it comes all the way down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you guys are absolutely right about the advantage of shots almost being at a disadvantage at this point. Preston did get to move a little bit post to post there, but he still hasn't seen the puck really to him. I mean, to put it into almost baseball terms, he's nearly about a pinch hit after playing game after game out in the outfield or something, where he's seeing the ball multiple times a game. It's a crazy hiatus it's been for Lake Forest, but like you said, it's going to play out. It might bite GBS eventually. It's just how hockey works sometimes.
Yeah, at some point when you have this type of advantage, you have to cash in, and if you don't, the other team might use that as momentum. Kosmeter loses his stick, tries to center it with his skate, and it gets taken away by Lake Forest. Here comes Catalano and Lou. And Lou with the backhand dumps it down behind Preston's net. It'll be recovered by Fagan, and he'll try to start the rush for the Titans about halfway through the period in period number 2. Hoffer couldn't get his stick on it, and Mulvey misses. Catalano will chase. Fagan and Mulvey, been such a strong defensive pairing for years for Jim Philbin's squad.
Oh my goodness.
What a snag.
That was an incredible snag from Jimmy Philbin.
Guys, he can do it all.
That was, we were so confused because he didn't even make it look like he caught it. No flash of the leather, just
it was like
literally
the puck
moved his arm across his body
like,
and just like picked it. I mean,
look at that, smooth criminal.
Great replay, Jamie Louise Olsen.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
If Max was here, I would have brought up the time that he caught the puck because I know he loves hearing about that.
We got to stop this. Here it comes out to center ice, and it misses the stick of Nelson. All the way down it goes. Hoffer wins the race, but icing is called nonetheless.
Wes, remind me to text Max that we brought up that he caught a puck that one time.
Luke, as soon as you said Coach Philbin caught the puck, that's immediately what I thought of. I think Max at this point might be sick of us bringing up that story.
Might be. Might be.
But it's still one of the better ones in SHL history.
Oh, my goodness. Being next to him for that, I lost my mind. And that was a very impressive one from Philbin Jr. that we just saw. I'm sure he's going to be coming back to. I think he might be on his phone checking out his catch right now.
It does look that way.
How cool did I look? Pretty cool.
Kosmeter gets it into the zone. He's got Hoffer to his right. Hoffer fires one toward the net. It's loose for a second. Fought for by Kosmeter. He takes a huge blow, and the save is made by Marsh. Kosmeter and Vanderplug unhappy with the way they were shoved after the whistle, but the puck remains out of harm's way.
That is some all-time awareness here from Marsh. He is somehow able to recover, and watch, you're going to see Kosmeter try to tuck it on the back post, but Marsh, without looking, is able to move his left leg back, feel the post, and then hug it tight to whereas he cannot get beat on that side. That's an impressive showing.
Yeah, Luke, that's so delicate, too, because that left leg could actually knock that puck into the net. So the fact that he did it is just even more impressive and more of a testament to how well he's playing tonight.
He's made some great saves. That one might be at the top of the list so far. 22 out of 23 is the netminder in gray. Puck loose for a moment near the blue line, fought for by a multitude of bodies. And it comes back into the zone. Graham Vanderplug gets it with a carom off the net, tries to center it, takes a big hit himself, but Lake Forest regains control. Awkward zone entry there, all too many. And it's finally settled down here. Fagan takes it across the red line and dumps it in. Graham Vanderplug again tries a centering feed, nobody home. Mendoza's shot goes deflected and up high. Now it's Vanderplug chasing after once more. He generates possession. Sokol tries to fire. And it's Rancourt recovering for the Scouts. Back to center ice it goes, and it's the Titans that control again and dump in. 5:45 to go in the second period. 1-1 is the score. All the way down the length of the ice for icing as Lake Forest still can't seem to generate any momentum on the other end.
Man, I know it's going to go unnoticed in the stat sheet, but how about Graham Vanderplug, who's able on 3 different occasions to be the lead forechecker and create some havoc. On the first one, that puck caromed off the corner boards pretty awkwardly, and Marsh did not cover it, leading to a close chance, but nobody there to support. Otherwise, he's been incredible.
Yeah, Vanderplug was able to keep that possession alive 3 separate times for the Titans. Here's Pinto receiving it, the D-to-D pass, firing one toward the net. Boris was there trying a deflection, and Marsh ends up covering it up.
Yeah, Marsh playing it a lot safer that time. It was Maricini, I believe, who just
Look at that
knew
weird
it was
bounce
towards him. Yeah, and it's Jake Maricini who just puts it under the glove or the blocker of Marsh on purpose, just to precautionarily get the whistle.
Glenbrook South with a full 5-man change. And it's that Hoffer line back out there with 5.5 to go as they try to scratch across this second goal and take the lead. It feels like they're playing with the lead. It almost feels like they've been on a power play for a large portion of tonight's game, but the scoreboard says otherwise. 1-1. Kosmeter and Hoffer 2-on-2. Here's Hoffer firing one to the net, and a nice save made. Getting a piece of it is Marsh.
Can't draw it out much better than that. Great switch at the blue line, able to create some space for Hoffer.
Hoffer is their playmaker offensively. Robbins there to leap to secure the puck, but Mulvey keeps it in for the Titans. A shot makes it all the way through. Asher Vanderplug makes it 2-1 Titans. He seemed as surprised as anybody that that one found the back of the net.
How about the humble celebration from Asher Vanderplug? And I think that's just a case of fatigue from Logan Marsh. I don't think he can clearly see this puck as well. He's slow to get down in the butterfly, but even if he doesn't have the greatest angle, that's a save he's going to make in the first period. But that's a 25th shot he faces, and I think it's Pasquesi who blocks off a good margin of his shot there.
It may have even hit off of Pasquesi out in front.
Yeah, guys, I had a great vantage point of that. Pasquesi just took away the eyes of Logan Marsh, and that's why you saw the late reaction.
2-1 Titans as they finally get some of that momentum to show on the scoreboard. 4.5 minutes left in the period. Pinto drags it with the backhand for Fagan on the far side boards. He weaves in and out of Scouts' defense. Mikrelis, Ventura, and Boris the line out now for Jim Philbin. Pinto, Fagan shoots. That shot deflected. Seems like this line is really trying to put some traffic out in front of Marsh, and that one deflects off the post. Pinto gets it back to Fagan. This line has done a nice job for the Titans. Tries to thread the needle. Here it comes. Ventura. It's a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Ventura tried to center it to Boris, and he couldn't get the shot off. Pinto keeps. Fires one toward the net. Save made from Marsh. It's loose once more with the backhand. It's still loose. And it's recovered out in front for the Scouts. Eggers gets it on the near side boards with 3.5 minutes left in the second period. Another great chance there from the Titans, forcing Lake Forest to ice the puck.
Lake Forest so badly needed a whistle there. Their defense, that entire sequence was just a step too slow. You're going to see this initial try and then this rebound in front. Everybody's out of sorts. There's space for Boris on the back door, but it's just out of reach. And instead it was Ventura who ended up setting up that great 3-on-1. I like his approach. The late pass to Boris got Torelli to drop to a knee, found an open passing lane, but it's a tough spot to put it home for Boris. I'd say a good 5 times out of 10, though, on a chance like that, you are going to find the back of the net. You just got to find a way to do it again.
Lake Forest gains control off the draw, but quickly comes back into possession of the Titans. Jonah Weiss out there with Preston fighting for it. Alexander Tutai out there as well. It looked like some of the crowd wanted a whistle. They didn't get it. We've still not had a penalty so far tonight.
And we haven't even had anything that was borderline penalty. The
Agreed.
refs have had a very easy day, and they've done a great job with it. They haven't messed anything up.
Lake Forest has the best power play in the SHL so far, according to percentage, but they haven't had a chance to use it. Another nice save made out in front by Marsh. I don't know how he was able to even see the puck, but he got a pad on it.
Yeah, talk about a cluster of bodies. That's probably the most vision-restricted save he's had to make all game.
2:22 left in the period. Weiss tries to get it to Hoffer, who sticks it ahead. Didn't get a ton of wood on it, but finding the puck first is Weiss and the Titans. They've been winning every race to the loose pucks tonight, and that's why the possession and the shots on goal have been so lopsided. Hoffer still in the offensive zone on the forecheck as the rest of his line mates went for a change. Lake Forest has numbers here. Here's Strothman. Strothman with the backhand loses the handle a bit, and it's Vanderplug taking control before it's sent behind the net by Catalano. William Fagan turning his eyes up court. Cross ice pass deflected. Cosmeter, I believe it's a delayed offside, which will cause the Titans to tag up and give Lake Forest a chance. Puck gets lost in some of that snow near the blue line and eventually comes toward the net as Preston steers it away. Only 2 shots on goal this period from the Scouts, and they haven't had one in over 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's his top line we really haven't seen a lot of. And when we have, we haven't said their star player's name often. Michael Catalano has been shut down by this GBS defense so far today.
They're certainly missing Tommy Esplin and his
absolutely
offensive prowess. 1 minute left in this second period. They try to stretch pass to get it to Cosmeter, who has been all over the ice tonight for the Titans.
Yeah, he got a jump there. I love the idea from the Titans.
This 2-1 lead feels like they are up by 3 or 4, especially with the lack of offense we've seen from Lake Forest as that one pops out of play with 41.4 seconds to go in the period.
Yeah, Steve Sorora's got the arms crossed right now. I don't imagine he's too satisfied with how his team has played through the first 2 periods. On the bright side, you can take what you need into the locker room in 41 seconds. Keep the score where it is. If you can score one, that's even better. But if you go into the third down 1, make the adjustments in between periods that you can. You've got a very good chance at coming back into this one and at least forcing overtime. Because Preston, as we mentioned, is cold right now, and it's not his fault. He just hasn't faced anything. Make him see a puck.
Weird Karam almost goes in and hits the side of the net with under 30 seconds to go in the period. You mentioned it. If you're Lake Forest, being down 1 is literally the best case scenario with how both of these periods have unfolded. 15 seconds to go. We'll see if one last rush from Lake Forest can generate anything offensively. Robert Rolick can't corral it behind the net. And it's Fagan sticking up ahead on the near side past Squazy there to try to stop it. Boris has the puck as time expires in period number 2. Glenbrook South does get a goal in the second period to take a 2-1 lead over the Lake Forest Scouts, but it feels like it's a little bit more than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been Glenbrook South's game. Jim Philbin talked about that tough practice he made his guys go through. And what I say earlier, you go through a tough practice like that, your gameplay changes. You know, coaches aren't just doing that to exhaust you, make you miserable. No, it's to learn a lesson and to never do that again. And that is the showing we've seen from South so far. They're unlucky to be only up by 1 right now, but now for Lake Forest and an exhausted Logan Marsh, you get time to relax, you get time to talk things over. Steve Soror, who's been with Lake Forest for his 8th year now, is going to bring in the drawing board. He's going to change things up. I would not sweat it one bit if you're Lake Forest going into this third period. For GBS, though, just keep doing your thing. It's going to pay off eventually.
Exactly. They lead the shots on goal 27-6. 34 minutes of hockey in the books. It's 2-1 Glenbrook South over the Lake Forest Scouts. We'll be back for the SHL Game of the Week's third period in just a few moments. 2-1 South after 2. Back for the third period of play for the SHL Game of the Week between the Glenbrook South Titans and the Lake Forest Scouts. My name's Anthony Pasquale with Luke Jordan. We're going to send it down to the third member of our crew, Wes Anderson, standing by with head coach Jim Philbin.
Thanks, guys. Coach Asher Vanderplug, a goal and assist tonight. What has he meant to this team for the first 10 games of the season?
Well, it's outstanding having him back like we talked before the game. You know, he missed out last year. He's been nothing but buzzing, humming pucks all the time. He's a great asset for our team. Keeps our forwards on track, and love to have him back.
3-0 and taking the lead into the second period in league play. What do you need to do tonight to make that 4-0?
We're going to get that third, fourth, and fifth goal right now. We got to keep attacking the puck. We're attacking all night, which has been great, but we got to finish around the net now.
All right, good luck in the third, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Wes. A 27-6 advantage on the shots on goal for Glenbrook South, but head coach Jim Philbin wants to see more of those pucks in the back of the net. The reason he hasn't, Logan Marsh.
Yeah, Marsh has been incredible, and really the only way you've been able to beat him is traffic or redirection, and that's how it's going to be on a great goalie like this. You're not going to get a lot of those routine shots to go. I've seen a lot of zone entries from GBS where they go in, whether it's 2-on-1, 2-on-2, top of the circle shot, no crashing of the net. It's not going to work. It's simple as that. And you need to find that third, fourth, fifth goal, as Jim Philbin was saying, because this is a Lake Forest team, no matter the shot advantage to one side, that will make you pay if you give them the opportunity. They will find one juicy opportunity and turn it into a goal. We mentioned Thomas Preston has seen 2 shots in the last 17 minutes of game time. He's got that entire break. He's got plenty of energy, but who knows if he's in tempo right now, and that's going to be a worry for GBS.
And like you said, if you let Lake Forest hang around long enough, they can make you pay.
Absolutely.
We'll see what gives here in the third period of action. 17 left in regulation, and we are underway in period number 3. You're watching the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube. And Preston quickly challenged with a long one. First shot on goal of the period as Lake Forest tries to build some momentum offensively in period number 3. Here's Robbins looking for Catalano, has nowhere to go with it, gets it to Lou down low. But it's fought 4-1 by Glenbrook South. The stretch pass to Hoffer just misses his stick. Otherwise, he would have been in alone. Here it comes on the near side. Fought for and fired by Mulvey, but it's deflected out in front. Lake Forest able to stop that puck from getting through. Vanderplug absorbs the check. And it's Lake Forest sending it up the other way. If it gets all the way to the end line, it will be an icing. Icing waved off by the official. That one deflects up off the netting, and it took a little half second for them to blow the whistle. I thought maybe they didn't see it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those pucks that have been up near the high glass or low netting where it's kind of tough to judge, but refs have caught it every time up to this point. And a look at 2 benches that are, one's trying to hang on, talk about that third, fourth, fifth goal, and Steve is just looking for that second. And boy, I mean, good start out of the gate, but I think Lake Forest has been a little bit hesitant in this game. When you see a chance to forward it into the slot, even if it's a super tight lane that you need to thread the needle, just you got to do it. You got to start rolling the dice at some point, because 16 minutes and 4 seconds seems like a lot of time. Let me tell you, it burns quickly when you're on the losing end.
1 minute gone by in the period. And here's Zachary Boris trying to start something with Mikrelis and Ventura. Gets all the way through. Here's Rob Rolick taking it. Get a backhanded pass through, and it found the tape of Valenti, but he wasn't able to convert it into a shot on net. Mikrelis takes control. Absorbs a check from Nelson near the Scouts bench. And that puck is dropped just behind the net. Taken by Torelli. Torelli weaving inside the neutral zone. Gets through a couple of Glenbrook South defenders, but Boris eventually reclaims the puck. Off the boards for Pinto, who's got a head of steam. Here he comes, and he gets tied up. Good defensive work there from Catalano. Catalano fans on the zone exit, and it stays in momentarily. Now here come the Scouts. 1-on-4. Nelson trying to work a shot toward the net, and it doesn't get through. I think it was Fagan that eventually stopped it, as the rest of Lake Forest goes for a change. Fagan with a head of steam on the near side, throws one on net, and it's into the glove of Marsh. His 26th save of the contest.
Steve Sorora describes this matchup as kind of a youth rivalry, and you see it especially Luke Fagan, Will Fagan, having formerly played with the Falcon Central State program. A lot of these Lake Forest players came from the Highland Park Falcons, so a lot of players going against each other here, a lot of players that know each other's play styles, and it's shown so far. We've seen some great defensive shadowing.
Two to 1 is your score. Glenbrook South on top of Lake Forest. And this second SHL game of the week of the season. Also had a great contest last night where York defeated New Trier. Luke, you were on hand for that one.
Man, what a game. I mean, not just the overtime, the shootout, the atmosphere was sensational. Playing for a good cause. It's always screw cancer. And seems Max is nailing it out of the park so far at the game of the week, so we got another one-goal game here. It's early. I'll give him credit, though.
14 minutes left in the period, left in regulation. Fagan with a race to the puck. Eltunian the third, and Fagan get tied up. Going to be a delayed penalty, which sends Preston to the bench. We're going to have our first special teams unit on the ice. Once Lake Forest touches the puck, here comes Fagan. Glenbrook South has a strong power play. They might even be able to score with the man advantage here. At the very least, burn some clock. Hoffer rings it off the boards. And ahead it comes. Kosmeter fans on it, and Strothman will touch to convert the penalty. And Luke, you've heard of the game Where's Waldo? I've got a new one for you. Where's Wes?
Look down to your left. I'm to the left of Preston
Northwest.
down here.
There he is. There he
I
is.
had a good look at that penalty, just an uncharacteristic and just not a mature play there by Altunian to give the power play here to the Titans.
Yeah, Altunian, he goes extra with the shove there, and now you got a power play unit that just about middle of the pack on the season, 0 for 2 last game against York, but we've seen the power of this unit over the last couple years, and they can get hot at times.
I think it was last year where they were one of the strongest power plays in the entire state of Illinois.
Yeah, 2 years ago, they had a 35% power play in the SHL regular season. It was sensational.
Back-to-back seasons with the lead scorer playing for the Titans. Of course, Hoffer still on the team. And I believe Freemuth the year before.
Yep.
2-1, Fagan circling, gives it back, looking for Vanderplug in the slot. Fagan shoots, deflected, and a save made from Marsh as he gobbles that up.
Love it. Love the approach. You're stretching out the perimeter, and then all of a sudden it's a quick blast to the net. You got guys crashing. And it's another play where if Marsh gives it up, there's Vanderplug, and Hoffer right here is going to shift over to the backside. He's ready if that pops out.
A little bit of issues with the clock. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the penalty and 12 minutes and 20 seconds left in the period. That one comes all the way down. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the power play. Glenbrook South trying to add another tally into the goal column.
Yeah, first special teams opportunity for either side. It's been a very disciplined game.
Here it comes to Vanderplug, gets it to Hoffer in the slot. His shot off the glove of Marsh. That shot comes in with a lot of smoke on it, and he's able to get a piece of it. Here's Vanderplug. Deaking gives it to, gets it right back in the slot, and it gets deflected. And a big check near the blue line. Vanderplug sends another one on net. Kosmeter was involved down low as well, and it comes all the way back down. 30 seconds left on the power play.
Shot blocking proves big again there for Lake Forest, stopping a couple of big ones.
There it goes to Fagan. Fagan gets it to Vanderplug. Cross ice it goes to Hoffer. Tries to get a slap shot off. Instead a centering pass, and he couldn't connect with Kosmeter. Mulvey on the near side tries to feed it to Hoffer, and instead Lake Forest will get it clear.
Guys, great stick by Nate Robinson on the back door to eliminate Hoffer on that back end. Could have been a tap-in goal, but either way, the Scouts going to play on here.
That'll do it for the power play. 82% penalty kill on the season for Lake Forest, and they add another one to their record there. Mikrelis tries to drive one to the net. It deflects up off the helmet and then trickles right into the glove of the netminder, and that'll go down as an additional save. We talked at the beginning of this period, Lake Forest got the first shot on goal of the period a mere 15 seconds in. They've been left shotless for the remaining 7 minutes, and that'll need to change in the last 10 minutes if they want to get back into this hockey game.
At least a good penalty kill on display. This is a team that struggled with the PK last year, well under 80%, second worst in the league. They're currently right smack dab middle in the SHL as of right now, and it seems to only be improving throughout the season.
And Preston decides to play that puck. Glenbrook South gets control. We'll see if that penalty kill can at least get some momentum for the Scouts as they trail this one 2-1. Boris fighting for it. Mikrelis there as well, and he's who corrals the puck on the far side's face-off dot, and down below it goes. A board battle ensues. Zach Boris gets it back, tries to thread the needle to Mikrelis, and he goes down to the ice, losing his footing. Lake Forest will start the rush up the other way. That was Preston Liu sending it forward.
Yeah, you see the immediate palms up from Steve Sorora. He was kind of questioning why. Liu had some space to skate, instead just elected to send it down. You can't do that, especially from behind the red line.
You finally get control. You want to maintain that control. Instead, it just goes right back to Glenbrook South.
Quick shout out to our third period sponsor, Glenbrook North Hockey Club. Thanks for sponsoring the third period. You see the top right of your screen there on the sponsor list.
And I think they're going to get a hand pass there for Pinto. Had a little bit too much momentum as he tried to stab that out of the air.
Akron, York, CCTV are base sponsors as well, and our eventual post-game interview is brought to you by Loyola Academy Hockey Club.
And, of course, the new Trier goalie cams as well being in full force.
They've given us some great angles today.
And a big thank you to our entire crew here, Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, Matt Freeman, and Gerard Boris, all helping out as part of a doubleheader for the SHL today.
Not your usual doubleheader. You have those occasional ones that are 2 at 1 rink. No, these guys had to pack it all up, bring it all over. I mean, we really don't credit them enough. They had to just immediately move here to Glenview, set it all up again, and what do we do, boys? Got some nice smacking Portillos, but whatever suits both.
And they made it look easy, too, as well. So great shout-out to all the sports staff behind the scenes.
I haven't gotten a bacon cheeseburger in a while from Portillo's. It did not dissatisfy me. Very good.
2-1 is still the score, as it has been since Asher Vanderplug netted one in the middle of the second period. Only 2 shots on goal for Lake Forest in this period.
I have one more off-topic thing to add. The Caramel Spice Cake Shake was very good. I recommend it to anybody in season trying to try it. You know what? They should be a sponsor of us.
You know, are you sure you're not hungry again there, Luke?
I'm starting to feed myself again. Yeah, I'm getting there.
9 minutes and 20 seconds left in this one. Here's Mendoza with the backhand to Graham Vanderplug. Both Vanderplugs have been very involved in this contest, as Marsh has to stop another one with 9:08 to go.
Charlie Tubukanik is a character, to say the least. He was very aggressive in on that forecheck. Kind of jump, skipped, hopped over the Lake Forest defender's stick and then just kind of let out a big scream. He's seems to be a big fan of the forecheck as his line will come off, but I like the energy that him, Graham Vanderplug, and Daniel Sokol have shown on the forecheck. And one of these times, I don't know if it's going to be this game with the amount of time they have left, they're going to turn one of those forechecks into a goal. We saw it last night with York against New Trier, scoring 2 of their 3 regulation goals on the forecheck. Quick transition offense, finding a goal, and that's exactly what South needs right now.
Yeah, if you get players that, play both ways, aggressive on the forecheck, if you got defensemen that get involved offensively, it makes such a difference. It just makes this ice feel a little bit smaller for these guys. Under 9 minutes remaining as that centering pass finds the stick of Hoffer, but he couldn't generate a strong shot toward the net. It bounces wide, and now Hoffer and Kodsmeter fighting for it. Out in front it goes. Mulvey decides to backtrack and play defense. Rancourt gets it ahead to Catalano, and Catalano's attempt gets stuffed right before it gets started. Fagan was looking for a penalty. Here's Kodsmeter on the other end on a nice save made from Marsh. Couldn't control the rebound, but thankfully scouts were there to corral it. Here's Pasquazi, his shot in and out of the glove of Preston. The first save he's had to make in quite some time. To Pasquazi again. He fires one, barely gets through the backhand, and a nice save made with the pad for Thomas Preston.
Creative move from Nate Robbins, just no look tapping it on, trying to test Preston, who's now made 4 in this period.
One more and it's a new record.
That's a way to put it.
Asher Vanderplug ahead to Hoffer. And Hoffer goes cross ice to Fagan, who has a head of steam, tries to whistle it past Rolick, and instead Rolick takes it back the other way. Stick to the helmet we saw. Looked like it might have been Fagan that took it off of the cage on his helmet. It looked incidental. Anyway, here's Valenti firing one to the net, and another pad save made by Preston. He's been really good with that right pad tonight when he has been tested. Cross ice it goes for an icing, and finally a little bit of momentum in the favor of the Scouts.
Yeah, guys, finally a good push here by the Scouts. And you talked about what a goalie has to go through to stay engaged in this game. 6 shots for the first 2 periods for the Scouts, 5 in the last minute or so here, and Preston's been stellar on each one of them.
I don't know how he's able to move side to side so elusively after not having to move his feet at all. I feel like mine would fall asleep.
He's done a good job of just skating in between the whistles here, trying to keep those legs loose as this game's gone on.
It's a good catch, Wes.
Mendoza fighting to fire that puck around the boards. William Redding on the near side. Altunian fresh out of the penalty box, trying to make a difference here for the Scouts down the stretch. 6 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in regulation. Head of steam, Strothman came, and he has it here. We'll see if he can get a shot off. He stops. Fires one to the net, a little bit high. Preston tried to get the blocker to it, but I think it evaded every piece of him. Boris to Mikralis, and he sends it down behind the netminder, Marsh. Redding circles. Fans on one. The puck stays there for the Scouts. Redding didn't know where it was. Here comes to Vanderplug, and a save made with the pad from Marsh. Point-blank opportunity for Vanderplug, who was looking for his second of the game.
And that's more of the chances I like to see from Glenbrook South. They started with the dump and chase, which at this point, believe it or not, I really don't like, because you're just giving a free possession to Lake Forest, and on one of these breakouts, they're eventually going to get into the offensive zone in fluid motion, but the forecheck is what's important there. They cause one, they get a shot in front from Vanderplug, but once again, nothing but clean ice to see in front of Logan Marsh. He's able to track that one down and kick it away.
But Fagan on the far side, retrieving it for Glenbrook South, who has a 1-goal lead with about 6 minutes left. Centering pass just misses Vanderplug. That shot goes wide. Cosmeter had a good look. Mulvey blocked out in front, Preston Liu. Now he hustles after it. At the very least, forces Glenbrook South to make a play. Catalano able to stop that one and send it toward the net. It's steered aside from Preston. And Mulvey starts to rush the other way. Vanderplug. He's got Cosmeter to his right, and the puck ends up just behind him, and he takes a huge hit before the puck gets dumped in. Puck was lost momentarily. I think it went in and out of the visiting bench, as Daniel Anaya wasn't able to convert.
Yeah, and Anthony, just as I spoke about it, the strong offense that Glenbrook South has had starting to spark again, and it's usually when they're settled in the offensive zone. I feel like they just tone down, they calm down, they're making the simple passes, they're not risking anything when they're all settled and have 5 guys in the O zone. On a chance like this is usually where they capitalize.
5:15 to go. 2-1 Glenbrook South. Puck battle on the near side boards. And eventually breaking through with it is the Scouts. But they can't get the puck out of the zone. A relentless effort there from Weiss. And Tutai tried to fire one on net, and it goes off the netting up and out of play.
Pasquasi's becoming one of my favorite on-ice personalities to just watch. He just wears shots and just doesn't feel a thing. It's like he's numb out there.
He's been great tonight for Lake Forest. One of the few players involved on both ends pretty consistently.
Yeah, and he's blocked at least 3 or 4 shots. He's useful at the point. You got to utilize him more, and it's really not his fault. He hasn't gotten the puck much in the O zone. Lake Forest as a team hasn't been able to settle it like South has in these recent few minutes, as a good example.
Yeah, and his long shot toward the net was the one that eventually got deflected and scored by Nate Robbins out front. The only goal tonight for the Scouts. That dump goes all the way up and down. Another icing.
Well, if you're Steve Sorori, you're down 1. You've got a timeout. You've got a chance to pull Marsh eventually. I'm not saying now, but I think in a whistle like this, at this point in the game, you really start to operate the brain and think when, why, how, all those good questions, and what will be an intense finish.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. As long as they're still down 1, with how little offense they've been able to generate, you might be thinking about making that move a little bit earlier than you usually do. That's covered up by Preston as it comes all the way down. Another save made on the other end from Marsh, who's up to 34 in tonight's contest.
Yeah, I'm big on always pulling the goalie sooner than later, because you never want to say, oh, we are generating great offense. Imagine we had 30 more seconds with the goalie pulled. And I think Steve Soror is probably on the same wavelength, considering the lack of offense they have. They need that extra attacker out there. They haven't got to showcase the power play.
That one comes back the other way. Just to play devil's advocate for a second, at what point do you worry about doing it because they haven't been able to keep the puck in their offensive zone? Could it just lead to another easy goal for Glenbrook South?
Oh, I mean, you know that's going to be in the forefront of your mind, but you got to be willing to roll with the opportunity cost there. But it's always there. I mean, if any coach will tell you they don't think about that reality, they're wrong.
3:40 to go. No icing there on that play. 3.5 left in the third period. Glenbrook South on top 2-1 on the scoreboard, on top 36-13 in the shot column. Here's Hoffer looking to cash in. Sends one toward the net, and it's Strothman taking it back the other way. Gets it to Nate Robbins. It's 2-on-2 as they come up the ice. Robbins' shot deflected out front with the stick of Preston. The goalie stays in between the pipes for now. 3 minutes to go, and Glenbrook South retains possession. Here comes Boris with a head of steam. Loses control in the neutral zone. And Lake Forest has a step. Preston's glove couldn't corral it, but he's able to steer it aside. Fought for in the neutral zone. Mikralis and Ventura out there with Boris. And it's Mikralis fighting for it on the near side board with a couple of scouts. And eventually breaking through. Mikralis has it. And it's recovered out in front by Macarini. Fagan able to keep and extend this possession for Glenbrook South as we're now approaching 2 minutes to go. If Lake Forest is able to exit the zone, I assume their goaltender will be with them. Zach Boris doing a good job, as this entire line is just keeping the puck in this zone, because Lake Forest can't hurt you there. Here they come. And it goes all the way down. Less than 2 minutes to go. Still in the net is Marsh. Fagan fighting for it behind the net. Catalano trying to regain possession for Lake Forest, and it comes all the way. It's a 2-on-1. It's Hoffer. Leaves it back. That shot, save made. Cosmeter was in point blank, and Marsh denied.
And guys, I think the Scouts coaching staff was waiting for Catalano's line to get back up on the ice before they pull the goalie. Unfortunately, great stretch pass there to Hoffer, and then he tries to go back door there. And once again, Marsh with just an excellent save on the back door. I expect now with this timeout of the top line as being out there, that we'll see Marsh coming out as soon as his puck comes across the half line.
Yeah, it's a great swing pass by Blake Hoffer there, and it's Logan Marsh saving his team once again. You got 4 scouts that were dragged in nearly beyond the top of the circle on that forecheck, and it created so much space in a 2-on-1, flawlessly executed. But once again, Logan Marsh coming out to the top of the paint, making himself a bigger presence, and makes a big save.
I believe the timeout was used here.
Yeah, by Lake Forest, and I think if you're Coach Soror, yeah, you're in your defensive zone right now. You could care less about what goes on. I think zone entry. You're drawing up something on the zone entry, whether it's settling it down, getting it towards the net, crashing the net. I don't know what exactly he's going to go with here, but you got to create some sort of havoc in front of the net. I mean, it comes to a point in time. It's been such a hiatus since Preston has really, truly been screened. And I think that's something that Coach Soror, now that he gets to sit down with his guys real quick and just give them all notice, I would imagine some sort of havoc in front of the crease.
Right, and I think part of the process would be having to maintain an offensive possession long enough for that extra attacker to matter.
We'll see what they do here, my friends. Got to get it out of the zone first.
Minute 32 to go. And the face-off draw won by Glenbrook South. That puck never made it through. And here comes Marsh to the bench. Robbins dumps it in. Catalano trying to win the race to it. Instead, it's Glenbrook South taking control on the near side. Fought through. Vanderplug clears it. Hoffer trying to get control of it. It's going to be a delayed offside. They'll have to tag up and crash. All the way back down the length of the ice. We are under 1 minute to go in the game, and that's going to be an icing on the Titans. Kind of a big break for Lake Forest. They cut down the 8 to 10 seconds it would have taken just to get the puck all the way back into the offensive zone, and they get an offensive draw.
Yeah, we saw the palms up from Steve Soror earlier, and now we see it from Jim Philbin. He didn't like that either. It's kind of like the play Preston Lee made earlier, to whereas you just hang on to the puck, you have space to skate, or try to make some sort of exit pass that isn't risky.
Luke, you took the words right out of my mouth, brother.
Well, glad we're on the same wavelength.
Under a minute to go, 2-1 Titans. Catalano tries a centering pass and nobody's home. Hoffer could not corral it, but instead Valenti and Lake Forest are going to have to tag up. Here comes on the near side, Lake Forest trying to get the equalizer. Catalano shot deflected by his own teammate Robbins. There's a fight behind the net for the puck, and it's Glenbrook South coming away with it. Fagan gets it ahead. Cosmeter had it momentarily, and Lake Forest was able to recontrol. Under 30 seconds to go. Here comes Nelson. Nelson, his shot deflected. Rebound, what a save from Preston. Hoffer's there to deliver a hit. Fagan extends to Cosmeter. And Cosmeter dumps it down. We're under 10 seconds. Thomas Preston might have just saved the game. 5 seconds left. That's touched ahead, and that's going to do it. Glenbrook South has won. 2-1 the final. Thomas Preston not challenged too much all day, but when it mattered, he stood tall.
Oh my goodness, you talk about saving the game, Anthony. That was incredible. We talked about it. He hasn't had to move too much post to post. Wes mentioned he was, in between whistles moving back and forth, and that paid off. He had to quickly shift over, get his toe out somehow on that save. And if he does not make that stop, we're headed to 5 minutes of overtime.
Just a sensational stop. Certainly one of the players for the game for Glenbrook South, but standing by with Wes Anderson is Asher Vanderplug. Had a goal and an assist. Just great to see him back on the ice. Wes, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Asher, you missed the majority of last year with a leg injury. We talked to your coach earlier, just what you meant to this team. How good and special does it feel to be able to contribute this year?
Man, it feels amazing. I love being out here on the ice with my brothers. I love the game of hockey. I love playing it, so I'm just blessed to be out here. I love Tube. Shout out Charlie Tube Mechanic. I love that kid.
There you go. Now as we look forward, you guys played a great game tonight, 37 shots. What do you need to do to roll this over to tomorrow when you face the Scouts team again tomorrow night?
Yeah, they're a tough team to beat in their barn. I mean, you know, home ice advantage plays a good factor in that. So as long as we just keep getting pucks deep, pucks on net. I mean, yeah, you saw like how the second one went in, like it was an absolute muffin. But yeah, just get pucks on net. I mean, good things happen.
All right, thanks. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Thanks, Coach.
Guys, it's back up to you.
Charlie Tubacanic seems like he takes maybe 4 energy drinks before hopping on the ice. Another scream from him mid-interview, and Asher, a class act as always.
I think it's hilarious that he called his second goal a muffin. I've never heard that one, and I think I'm going to implement it into the broadcast vocabulary some way or another. But Glenbrook South comes away with a big win. We heard from Jimmy Philbin before the game how much he wanted to get this team back on track after what he called an embarrassing performance against York. I would say they did just that.
Well, you're going to have your A games and you're going to have your B games, or maybe, as Jim would like to reference it, an F game that he saw on Wednesday. And it's just about bouncing back. Now that you've got the win, now that you've improved things defensively. And you know what? I like their offense a lot today. I don't think 2 goals is going to be the case out of a performance like that 9 times out of 10. You put on 37 shots on Logan Marsh. This doesn't look like it, but all around, this is a sensational victory for South, just to get your offense back in rhythm. That was shut out, only had 15 shots on goal against York a few days back. And defensively, they shut everything down until the final few seconds, where Thomas Preston was the one who saved their rear end.
And for Lake Forest, all they need is 1 sleep before they get another crack at Glenbrook South. They play them again tomorrow at Lake Forest. Do you expect that game to go a little bit differently?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Asher nailed it on the head. This is a Lake Forest team that is very good on home ice. I'm sure they're going to bring out their students. I'm sure they're going to bring out the energy. And something about playing at Alumni Memorial Fieldhouse, they've always had a good home record there. I believe they had the greatest parity between home games and road games in their record last year. And I'm sure it's going to be more of the same this year. They love playing up north. It's a tougher drive for most teams. Not for Glenbrook South, really, but overall, it's one big advantage, and I would not be shocked if the Scouts come back and tie up the season series tomorrow. But Glenbrook South, if they keep doing their thing, if they can replicate what they did today, I wouldn't be too worried about them either. Just know it's going to be a great game tomorrow up north.
Certainly two of the SHL's best. That is all from us at the Glenview Community Ice Center for the SHL Game of the Week. Thank you all for joining us. For Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, Gerard Boris, Matt Freeman, for our in-between-the-box reporter Wes Anderson, and my broadcast partner Luke Jordan. My name's Anthony Pasquale saying so long. Thank you for tuning in to this SHL Game of the Week on YouTube. Glenbrook South 2-1 winners over the Lake Forest South. We will see you next time.